people need to calm down. Welcome, the War Chief of Light is back with another epic video. Hi, my name is ffxiv, and I chose violence, it would seem, with this one. But in the opposite direction. Listen, I'm going to say something today that I thought would not be controversial. However, Twitter is proving me wrong by the second. And that is, patch 6.5 was a great patch and I loved every bit of it. Controversial, I guess. So listen, obviously we're going to talk about some spoilers of patch 6.5, so if you haven't done it yet, go off, go do it, enjoy it, or don't. Okay, seriously, I spent some time on Twitter and the comments are wild. Worst patch ever, worst expansion ever. I mean, some of them had some legitimate criticism, but not a whole lot. A lot of it was just screaming into the void, I think, which is kind of funny because we're in the void. Either way, I really enjoyed it. Okay? So let's go over what's going on. 6.5 is 95% end of the 13th journey, and then 5% here's Dawn Trail. And we're not going to talk about that 5%, okay? Because realistically, that's not the bulk of it, first of all. And second of all, it's meant to be a hype. It's coming. And to be perfectly honest, I found that 6.5 didn't dick around a whole lot. Yes, we got that first section into the first, which I really enjoyed. Listen, they knew what they were doing, okay? Because it served two purposes. One, it opened up our world. It showed that other possibilities can go on. This is now a loose thread. What about another star? Just saying. We now have more options. We now have other ideas. And of course, let's be honest, this was a nostalgia run. Okay, we were going to go see all of our good friends. We're going to say hi to all of them. We're going to ask for their help, because of course we are. And did it sell? Yes, I bought that. Okay, I fell for it 1000%. Shadowbringers is my favorite expansion. I won't lie to anybody. And I think they did it well. I also think more video games should be using their old assets. It builds the world larger. And again, leaves those little threads that they can absolutely and totally will pick up on later. So, I'm not offended. Some video game companies need to take that as an example. Is it for every single storyline? No, obviously. But I think this was not offensive. It did the job well. And I got to see my girls, Reen and Gaia. And of course, the greatest character of them all, Dulia Chai. And no, we are not going to be debating that. Not up for debate. So, after that, we head straight into the 13th. We get our hands dirty right away. We've got a dungeon, and that dungeon I loved it. It felt like a classic dungeon crawl. It had fantasy elements, a big castle. It really felt like you were gaming in the past. It was great. And of course, the music. Music was excellent. Who are we kidding? Final Fantasy IV. For those of you who've never played Final Fantasy IV, I actually heard some comments that you guys did not like the music, that you felt it was aged, dated, which, fair. That was there for nostalgia. That was for people like me that played the old games. Yes, I played more of 6 than 4, but it was still for us. It was not for you. Zero Miss was for you. We'll talk about that later. And the dungeon ended exactly the way you thought it would. You knew what was happening with Golbez. You knew he wasn't the original Golbez. Listen, the one argument point that I would complain about in this patch is that they are extremely heavy-handed with their foreshadowing. And they have been in Endwalker. Right? Think of the raid, which I'm almost done it. We'll talk about that in the next video. But we knew Golbez was the other guy, a patch ago, we knew that. There was nothing new about that. We also got probably the coolest outfit change of all, from Reaper to Paladin. Zero grew, which was fantastic. I loved that. I want that IRL. That armor looked good. 11 out of 10. I mean, yes. We fought the despair that Golbez was having. We went and fought Zero Miss, and bam! We did it. I mean, we showed Golbez that through his despair, we were still able to overcome, that we found possibilities, that of course, working with your friends, that maybe one day things can be better. And they will. Remind you of something? We also got a moment with Yashola, which, I'm not gonna lie to you, you can bet your paychecks you will see a short and TikTok of my reaction to that, because it was fantastic. She had me howling. Yes. This was a love letter, and I mean a love letter to Final Fantasy IV. The entire story was there. The characters were mostly there. The change to a paladin, what the hell? There. Golbez switching sides. There. Zero Miss, or Golbez not being the last boss. The names, listen, this was a love letter. Hell, the fucking music. The music was everywhere and it was great. What I really liked about it is that the people that never played Final Fantasy IV still enjoyed it. They still got a classic Final Fantasy XIV experience, and honestly maybe a retro feel to the game. But the story was less strong, like in other expansions and patches, but still felt great. And that's classic Final Fantasy, and they nailed that. So you got an Endwalker experience no matter what, but one came with a love letter. And I think that's great. I think they fucking nailed that. Again, if you never played Final Fantasy IV, you weren't intruded with the references. If you never played Final Fantasy IV, you didn't not get something. If you played Final Fantasy IV, you screamed when Zero became a paladin. If you didn't, you're lying. Okay, maybe you didn't. I did. Okay? Also, I spoke about the music being a little bit dated, which, fair, listen up. You have the right to that criticism. Zero Miss was for you. That beautiful blend, and again, if you played Final Fantasy IV, you're like, oh my goodness, there it is. Or it's right there in the undertone. They nailed that, and they made a banger. Like, come on, that was incredible. Truly, again, another Soken masterpiece. Yes, we expected that out of them, but like every time we're still shocked. I also really liked that this patch really revisited Endwalker as a theme. Because remember, Endwalker really was three things. It was Garlemald, which to me shouldn't have been an Endwalker. Different story for a different day. It was the curtain call, remembering your journey as a whole. And it was despair. It was fighting despair at its core. Nihilism. Fighting that feeling. And we got that again. We got it in, I feel like, a more condensed, more classic video game type delivery. Less theatrics and more straight to the point. And I enjoyed that very much. It really hammers it home. Like, listen, this is what we learned in Endwalker. Don't forget it. It's important. I liked that. I did. And other than that, what was not to like? I mean, we got our Zero moment. We've got our Yashola. You glam hams, listen. Don't you tell me you didn't look at that paladin armor and been like, bitch. Imagine it in hot pink. There you go. I rest my case. I'm also gonna, like, side note. Yes, the transformation from a Dark Knight to a paladin was there, so Reaper to paladin. What's cool is that happened in 4. It's happening in 14. And yet we chose the paladin as the main job for the expansion. Like, it all lined up quite nicely. I like that very much. I'm not gonna lie, very smart. I caught you. I say that like it was something intelligent. No, it's not that intelligent. So to me, it was a great ending. Tied everything up nicely. Left just enough loose ends that we can come back sometime. But I liked it. It rounded our experience, which I like. Now, I know some people didn't like the whole experience. That this really didn't feel like a big moment because the other patches were lulls. The growth was inconsistent. And I mean, I can get that. I do. You're used to a bigger burst at like the 0.3 mark. And you know, maybe saving the dragon wasn't in it for you. Because let's be honest, do you even remember that you had to save the dragon? It wasn't important to me. I didn't care about the dragon. So again, if that's your point, I get it. I agree. There are also some players, okay, that were very upset that they didn't get a profound, deep, guttural cry or a kick to the nuts. Which, what? Listen, two things. One, not every story needs an epic moment where you're distraught, destroyed, can't recover. The reality is this story was told left to right, front, had a beginning, middle, end. It was great. There was nothing more we needed. You didn't need a throat punch to make this feel good. Number two, if you keep having moments like that, they lose their power. They do. It's reality. I mean, how many NPCs died after Papalimo? Can you guess why? Not just because we like the characters, but if they keep dying, we're not going to get a whole lot out of it. It's poor storytelling to just keep waiting for the big bang, that big moment, and then nothing, or that it's... We fought fucking despair itself. Nihilism itself. We saved worlds over. We saved the universe. It's okay to take it down a notch. Listen, this isn't Game of Thrones. And even then, do you remember any like massive OMG can't believe everything after the Red Wedding? Honestly, and don't tell me you remember the last season sucking, because that's just not fair. It did suck. But, you know. After the Red Wedding, what could compete? Not a whole lot. After that, you're just like, oh, cool. Buddy died. Yay. Right? Listen. We did the thing. We fixed the thing. We made a new friend. We helped them overcome themselves. We helped them overcome somebody that they dismissed early on and became friends. And then we left a little bit of loose ends in case. And then we saved the dragon. I think that it was really important that they grounded us. And I don't think a lot of players were prepared to be grounded. And deep down, I really enjoyed this ending. Call me crazy. Call me weird. Or just tell me I'm wrong. That's all good. Leave me in the comments. Tell me how we did and tell me what you thought of it. If you like videos like these, you like getting nerdy, you like watching nerdy, you like silly, listen, we do silly, but we do silly nerdy. It's kind of weird. Subscribe, hit the bell. I upload all the time. Crazy amount of time. And I'm at WarChiefPeeps pretty much fucking everywhere. I mean, all the socials, literally Google it. That's all me. So, in the meantime, have a legendary night. Thanks so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you guys again on the next one. Bye. Kefka. We need a Kefka. We need somebody fucking shit up for the sake of fucking shit up, because chaos.